Alright, so in this problem, I have 3 to the power of x to the power of 3 over 9 to the power of x is equal to 81. So I'm going to first, we write 9 to the power of x as 3 squared to the power of x. And then we write 81 as 3 to the power of 4. Now, this is the same thing as 3 to the power of x to the power of 3 minus 2x is equal to 3 to the power of 4. Because 3 to the power of 2 to the power of x, that's going to equal 3 to the power of 2x. And now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n, then this means that m is equal to n. So in this case, x to the power of 3 minus 2x is equal to 4, meaning x to the power of 3 minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. So now to solve this, we actually have to find one solution of x so we can use that solution to find the other solutions of x. And we actually have to just keep on plugging in numbers until we find a solution. So if you actually plug in 2, you get that that the solution equals 0. So x equals 2 is one solution of x. And now using the solution, we can find the rest of the solutions by doing long division. X minus 2 equals 0 is a solution. So meaning we have to divide this by our original equation. So we have x to the power of 3 minus 2x minus 4 divided by x minus 2. And if you do this, you end up getting x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So now this gives me two equations. I have x minus 2 is equal to 0, and I have x squared plus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So for x minus 2 equals 0, x is obviously equal to 2. And for x squared plus 2x plus 2 equals 0, I can use the quadratic formula. So I get x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 2, all over 2a. This is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 over 2, which is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 2i over 2, which is equal to negative 1 plus or minus I. So these are my three solutions to this problem. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 4 is equal to 16. So I'm going to first start by subtracting 16 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I'm left with x to the power of 4 minus 16 is equal to 0. Now x to the power of 4, I'm going to rewrite as x to the power of 2 times 2. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So x to the power of 2 times 2, I can rewrite that as x to the power of 2 to the power of 2 minus 16, I'm going to rewrite as 4 to the power of 2. This is equal to 0. Now if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x squared and b is 4. So now I have x squared plus 4 times x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. Now this is going to give me two equations. I have x squared plus 4 is equal to 0, and I have x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. So x squared plus 4 equals 0. I can actually subtract 4 on both sides, and I have x squared minus 4, x squared is equal to negative 4. Now for x squared minus 4 equals 0, I can add 4 on both sides, and I get x squared is equal to positive 4. Now for x squared equals positive 4, this is pretty simple. We just take the square root on both sides. Square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 4, that's going to equal positive or negative 2. Now for x squared is equal to negative 4, I'm going to start by doing the same thing. I have the square root of x squared is equal to the square root of negative 4. However, the square root of negative 4, I'm going to rewrite that as the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1. And if you guys already didn't know, the square root of negative 1 is equal to the imaginary number I. So I have this square root of 4 times I. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 4 is positive or negative 2. So I have x is equal to positive negative 2i, and x is equal to positive or negative 2. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 3x squared is equal to 216. So I'm going to first start by rewriting this as x to the power of 3 to the power of x squared is equal to 216. And now I'm going to switch the order of 3 and x squared, so this is the same thing as x to the power of x squared to the power of 3 is equal to 216. I'm going to rewrite as 6 to the power of 3. Now these two 3's can simply cancel out, so now I have x to the power of x squared is equal to 6. Now I'm going to take the power of 2 on both sides. So now I have x to the power of x squared to the power of 2 is equal to 6 squared. And I'm going to switch these two places. So now I have x squared to the power of x squared is equal to 6 squared. And now I can let x squared equal to the variable y. So now I have y to the power of y is equal to 6 squared. And 6 squared, that's the same thing as 36. So now I have y to the power of y is equal to 36. Now if I take the ln on both sides, I get ln y to the power of y is equal to ln 36. And now if I have something in the form ln a to the power of b, I can move this exponent b to the front, so it's going to equal b times ln a. So in this case, I can move y to the front, so now I have y times ln y is equal to ln 36. Now y is the same thing as e to the power of ln of y, because the e and ln cancel out. So I'm going to replace y with e to the power of ln y. So now I have e to the power of ln y times ln y is equal to ln 36. Now I'm going to take the W Lambert function on both sides. So I have the W of ln y times e to the power of ln y is equal to W of ln 36. And this results in e to the power of ln y equaling e to the power of W of ln 36. And remember how we let y equal to x squared. So now I have x squared is equal to e to the power of W of ln 36. If I take the square root on both sides, I get x is equal to the square root of e to the power of W of ln 36. And this is plus or minus. Alright, so in this equation, I have 2 to the power of x squared over 4 to the power of x is equal to 16. So I want to find the value of x here. So for my solution, I'm going to start by rewriting 4 as 2 squared and 16 as 2 to the power of 4 so that all my terms are in powers of 2. So I get 2 to the power of x squared over 2 squared to the power of x is equal to 2 to the power of 4. Now from here, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So 2 to the power of 2 to the power of x, I can rewrite that as 4 to the power of x, which is equal to 2 to the power of 4. And, oops, sorry, this is not 4 to the power of x, this is actually 2 to the power of 2x, which is equal to 2 to the power of 4. And now from here, if I have something in the form a to the power of m over a to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m minus n. So in this case, m is x squared and n is 2x, so I get 2 to the power of x squared minus 2x is equal to 2 to the power of 4. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n, this means that m is equal to n. So in this case, m is x squared minus 2x and n is 4, so I get x squared minus 2x is equal to 4. And now if I subtract 4 on both sides, these two cancel out, and I get x squared minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now from here, to solve this, I'm going to use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, and c is equal to negative 4. So I get x is equal to negative of negative 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 4, all over 2a, so 2 times 1. And this is equal to positive 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 4 times 1 times negative 4, which is 4 plus 16 over 2. And this is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of 20 over 2. Now, we can actually simplify this. The square root of 20 is the same thing as the square root of 5 times 4, which we can rewrite as the square root of 5 times the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is equal to 2, so this is equal to 2 root 5. So now I get x is equal to 2 plus or minus 2 root 5 over 2. And now if I divide both these terms by 2, I get x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5.